we're going to create our first part. Now, when you create a part, you can do it using either a 2D or a 3D sketch. Usually we use 2D just because it's simpler. There are some applications to use a three-dimensional 3D sketch, which we do in SolidWorks too. Here we're going to do them with a 2D sketch. So the first sketch that you create is called the base sketch. And the base sketch is, there we go. Okay. A part is a 3D model which consists of features. What are features? Features are geometry, building blocks. They either add or remove material. Some do not affect the material, like a cosmetic thread that is more for display on the drawing. We seldom use those in industry because it takes a lot of processing power. When you have large assemblies, you want to minimize the time that it takes for it to rebuild and for you to open it and so forth. So we make the sketches on faces and edges. The other software I use at work, those sketches are absorbed into the part and they go away. Here in SolidWorks, it's nice because they stay as a part of that feature where you can modify them. Okay, so the base sketch, feature manager, and the command manager tabs and tree folders will vary depending on system setup, version, and add-ins. So over here is the feature manager. This is the command manager up here, and these are tabs that you can add or subtract depending on what type of work you're doing. If you're doing sheet metal, there's no sheet metal tab up here, but you can add it, so that gives you more tools to use. But if you're not doing sheet metal, you can take it out and then you have more space for other tools. Okay. The difference, we talked about this, the parts and assembly and drawing that you can pick from. The advanced button mode is set. Okay, templates are a setup that you can, that sets the dimensions, the number of decimal places. A part is a, okay, we'll create a part. Let's go on. The part origin. So the origin is, here's the page I like. The origin is something, is a point in space that you need to attach your sketch to. Otherwise the sketch can move around, and you want to define everything that's important when you create a sketch for a part. If there's anything that's left undefined, it can be anything that anybody else wants it to be. So the idea behind designing something is to give it full definition. The main menu toolbar we looked at, the part feature manager tree lists the features in your part. Command manager, just mentioned. Heads up view toolbar, we looked at that earlier with the fit to screen, the zoom to area, the section view. This is your different views that are available. This is the image of your part. This will show or hide different defining factors in your part. These are all about display. Is it pretty? Is it colored? Lighting, background, different stuff. Task pane, this has some of the similar things. This is our design library. Here is the pane that you would use to insert different views into your drawing. Again, this is same appearances. And down here is motion study, 3D views and model. Usually we keep it in model. And on the very bottom, here it tells you the version of which version of SolidWorks the file is being opened in. Here it tells you what is going on. Editing parts. We like that to say fully defined. That means that all of the dimensions have been added to the part. That will take away those degrees of freedom, so that it's we want it to be fully defined. Units, inch, pound, seconds, or metric. You want to be sure that this is correct, because if you if you were modeling it, if it's supposed to be in inches and you model it in millimeters, that can be very troublesome and the challenge to fix. It's easy to toggle between them, but once you've modeled in something, it can be difficult. And tag, I have no idea what that is. We'll maybe see that. Okay. The plane, we're going to define sketches. We talked about the top, front, and the right plane. Click the origin from the feature manager. So the origin is in your tree as well, and it's an easy way to pick. If you want to find the origin, you can pick it in your feature tree, and it will highlight here, and then you can use that when you're creating, when you're defining dimensions. If you're dimensioning from the origin, you can click that. It's a quick and easy way to do it. Download the SolidWorks folder, unzip the folder, click open, okay, and there's the bracket. All right, yeah, we will be modeling the parts that we make. Okay, and there's the bracket that they're talking about. Extrude, all right. Oh, the roll bar. Zoom to fit, okay, we talked about that, how to zoom into an area. When you're highlighting something in SolidWorks, here is a good picture of the drop down from the heads up. The heads up is this little bar, feature bar here. That's a quick and easy way to determine the view of your model. All right. So they call that the drop down heads up view toolbar. And I'm going to go up here, go to browse recent documents to open up my guide rod. I'll show you that quickly. Okay, rebuild it, sure. What happens when you rebuild? Rebuild will look at all of the files that are associated with this, and if any changes have happened to those parts, it will incorporate those changes into your assembly to keep it current with all of the parts that are in it. Here is the heads up toolbar with this view. You can go, these are the blue indicates the face that you're looking at. So this would be the front view of this isometric cube. This being the top, the left, the bottom, the right, and the back. Over here is dropped a black arrow, tells us there's something available. We've got isometric, diametric, and trimetric. Isometric is at the 30, 60, 90 angle, which we're shown here. Depending on how you're displaying it and what it is you want to show, you may use these other features as well. I commonly will use isometric. Okay. Let's go ahead and make a part. Okay, we're working on it. We're going to, do they take us there? I want to do this as best I can according to the new book. So I'm using Control plus and Control minus to zoom in and out. Okay. Close all tutorials and models. Okay. Right click in the graphics window gives you different toolbars that are available, and you can add and subtract what's in here. There are default tools. I will usually just keep those the same. Sometimes I will add things if I'm doing like more sheet metal than, or if I'm creating a part, I use a lot of mouse gestures. I will show those to you. And those can be changed too. There are default ones. Confirmation corner, that is, okay, and here's our heads up toolbar. So the heads up toolbar, that's the one that they're talking about on top of the graphic area. The confirmation corner, I think that has changed. So if I, okay, I open my guide. So I come over here to the feature tree and I right click. This is an assembly because it's got the blue box. So I open it up. I right click on it. It gives me this menu. I come up to the top. The file folder is open part. This is open drawing. Edit the part. So edit the part is going to edit this part here, the guide. And I can do that inside this assembly, or I can open the part itself and edit the guide just in that by itself without the rest of the assembly present. This is a way to hide and show the component. When you click on the eyeball, down here in the feature tree, it shows up transparent or colorless. That means that the image has been hidden. If you look in your feature tree and you see the yellow, white, oh, something is hidden. Not everything is shown here. So I can right click on here and go up to click on the eyeball again, and that will show it. You can change the transparency. Suppress is to shut it down so it won't work, so that it's not active. It's still in the assembly, but it's not active. And then you can unsuppress it and turn it back on. That's different than deleting it, because when you delete it, it goes away. Okay, we're going to create a rod. Wait, what do we do first? Confirmation corner, check mark is keep it, X is don't keep it. Okay, here's our views again. Another way to do that is you can press Control space bar to activate the view selector, which is this. You can also just press space bar, and that will allow you to do normal to. Normal to is normal. That's a weird term. I never thought of it that way. I just thought of normal, but normal to means that it will be flat to the surface that you choose. So it's a way to look straight at a particular surface, which is helpful if you're drawing a sketch on that surface or you need to see something related to it. Hide show items. We talked a little bit about that. Edit appearance, that can change the color or texture. Apply scene, that's the background. View setting is, so all of these things are accessed by clicking on the eyeball, which is on that upper toolbar that has the orientation. And rotate view, you can determine the degrees that it rotates. 3D drawing, okay. Command manager up on the top has, these are the features, these are the tabs that I said you can add and subtract. Features, so sketch is what we start with, and that's where you do your 2D sketch and define it. And then once you have a sketch, you can create a feature from it where you will revolve it or extrude or cut a hole wizard, create a predefined hole for a particular hardware. You can cut through it or cut partway through, revolve, cut. Fillets, linear fillet is, or chamfer is to alter the edge or a corner. You could put a round or an angled corner. Patterns, okay, lots of things. You can create a plane. Command Manager is a context-sensitive toolbar that updates based on the toolbar you want to access. So when you pick the tab down here in the gray, it will, a whole bunch of items that are part of that menu will pop up. You click on the menu, click on the tab, and more will show up. Different tabs have different features in them. Below is an illustrated command manager for an assembly document. Okay. So an assembly, that will have different features that relate to the assembly, like putting other parts into it, insert components, mating things. Smart fasteners, you can put fasteners in there. You can move the components around, or you can rotate them. You can hide or show components to view, like if you're creating an airplane and you have the outside shell on and you want to see the seats inside, you would want to hide that outside shell. So you could hide those things. Some features are available in an assembly. When you're doing an assembly, you may be able to like cut a hole in something, but you won't be able to add material to it like you could if you're creating the part and you're doing an extrude feature. Markup, there's ways that you can mark up. So like redlining a drawing, you would make marks on there to show the things that need to be changed. You can do that in PDFs. I get drawings from our customers who say, oh, well, we like what you've done, but we want to make all of these other changes. So they will redline on their PDF. You can do that here too. Collapse the command manager. Okay, click the pins to toggle them on so they stay. You can pin them. Yep. Part feature, manager, design tree. Okay, we kind of went through that already. There's your planes, here's your features. The arrows allow you to open it up and see what's inside, like gain access to the sketches and different things. Sketches, tags, collapse items. The stars or the light bulbs in the book indicate that it's an important thing, something kind of highlights. Options is a gear that is located up here. Let me open a part. Let's go back to our guide. Okay. Guide rod is currently being used by me. Do I want to open a copy? Okay, so it says that somebody's using this already and it's me. Like I would open a copy if I just want to look at it to reference something, but if I'm doing actual work to it, I don't want to open a copy because then I can't save the work that I do. So I want to have write access, it's called. I'm just going to say no. What files do I have open? Okay, I don't have, okay, because Windows does not show up here, I have nothing open. So I want to browse recent documents and let's see. Did I lose my, okay. Okay, now's a good time. We're going to create something. Really, for real, this time we will. Okay, so I clicked on new file. We'll go part in Chancy. And then so once I indicate that and it turns blue, I go okay. Now, configurations, okay. This is still, well, this is chapter 1. Flyout toolbar, task pane. Okay, we talked about those. Those are in the task pane, which is in this corner of your screen. SolidWorks resources. Design library we talked about. The view palette is that will show you the drawings that are the views that are available of the parts that you are inserting into your drawing. So you've modeled the part, now you're creating the drawing, and you go over to the right side. This is the task pane manager, and you pick that, and then you tell it you want the air cylinder, and these are the views of that air cylinder. So you then would click on this with your left mouse button and drag it over into the viewing area of your document, release it, and it will show the front view there. So that's the view palette. And you can create different views that are not standard. This is the front, right, top, and back. You can create, if you want to show a particular part of it, you can spin that around and create that a different view inside your model, and then that would show up here as accessible. Appearances, scenes, and decals. That's fun and exciting, but it takes a lot of memory, so we don't really do much of anything with that in industry unless we are creating brochures that we want to look pretty for the customer. So the customer says, ooh, that's a great product. I want one of those. There's motion study where you can basically have the part move and move different things. It's video editing, a lot of fun, but we don't cover that. Animation, you can move parts. One of the parts I was working with today was movable. So I could hold it down with my left mouse button and move it back and forth in my assembly, which is good because that gives you the ability to determine where it's going to go, what needs to be changed, if the part will work or not. Okay. Mouse movements, primary button, scroll wheel, secondary button, single click, double click, right click, kind of basic stuff. Summary, yeah. If you see an arrow like this on the side of a menu box or something, that means that there's more information to be found. So click on that and this will expand out and show you more options. Plate, rod, and guide. Those, let's make those. We'll go see what they want to do for dimensions. There's room to make notes. Okay, this is what we're going to make. This is project 2. And things that we will learn, let's do that as project 2. The rest of this was just some more of the orientation.